I had a goal of building a $100 gaming PC that was capable of playing Cyberpunk on low settings with a tolerable FPS. And with this goal achieved and out of the way, I decided that I wanted more. I wanted to take the same PC and see if I could make it play one of the new titles that everyone's been playing lately, Starfield. Hey guys, it's Chris with Tech Vibe, and yes, you did hear that correctly. In our previous video, we built a gaming PC for $100 that played Cyberpunk. And I wanted to be able to take that a step further in this video to see if we could get that same PC to go ahead and play the same title that everyone's been talking about, both good and bad, Starfield. Now, we're gonna add about $20 to $40 into this thing and see if we can make this a reality. And I believe we can.
Now, if you did follow along with the last video, you know that this PC was not easy to accomplish. It took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. And now we up in the big league.
Getting out turn it back. Long as it live, it's you and me, baby.
Now, in order to get this PC to be able to run Starfield, we were definitely going to have to add more RAM in here. We did struggle our way through Cyberpunk, and we were able to touch 60 FPS here and there, but we definitely could have done a lot better with the 16GB kit. Now, because we were hindered on the price restrictions that we could pass on the last build,
$100,
we didn't go ahead and add that 16GB kit, but for this one, we're adding a little bit more to it, under $150, and we're playing Starfield. So that'll definitely cover this. Reference, these are two different sticks of 8GB DDR4, but they are both clocked in at 3000 megahertz, so it shouldn't cause any rifts. Should be fine. I wanted to go ahead and put these in because they have heat spreaders, and well, to be honest, there's not a lot of airflow in this case. This case does not have an intake fan at all. So the only kind of fresh air that we got coming to this case is if this fan here for the CPU manages to pull in any along with this GPU. So all we have really is this exhaust. So cooling can be a concern here, and one of the more pressing concerns that I would say over the cooling is our power supply. Now, our power supply is only rated with 260 watts total power. So with our parts that we're adding in here, yes, this can run. It did handle Cyberpunk just fine, but when we start adding more stuff to the motherboard to power, I don't know what that tipping point is. So hopefully we don't hit it. Hopefully we're still fine. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out.
With the concerns of airflow and power issues kind of pressing on our back here, there was really nothing I could do at this point. I just had to press on and hope that the system was able to hold up. I just had to see how everything was gonna fare. Would our power supply be able to handle this all? I don't know.
One RAM stick going in with one hand, and while filming, not easy to do.
With all the parts now installed, it was time to see if the PC would still turn on. It did. It did turn on, but I wasn't exactly convinced just yet because just turning on the PC doesn't really put us under that much of a load. So it was time to get a game running to just see exactly how we stood. And with this 16GB kit installed, it was time to see just how much better we were doing in Cyberpunk. In the previous build here, you can see on screen, we are ranging between 50 to 60 FPS. Now, this is running at 8GB of RAM, but with the addition of the 16GB of RAM into this new system here, we are definitely able to hit a bit higher of a range, ranging from anywhere from 50 FPS all the way to 80 FPS, just depending on what area we were in. With Cyberpunk being such a busy world, it certainly is area dependent on how well our FPS is going to perform. But with the 16GB kit setup, gameplay was definitely much smoother. Now, with the confirmation that we are definitely in a much better position with the simple addition of this 16GB kit, it was time to move on to the main squeeze. But there was a problem. When I first tried to launch the game, there was a pretty big hang up that the GPU had trying to process the game. And well, just look.
Clearly this is not happy right now.
Now, I'll be honest, this did give me a spike of anxiety here. I thought that this was gonna throw a wrench into my operation here, but it turns out the little RX 570 was just trying to run Starfield on high settings at 4K, and it couldn't do it, which, big surprise. The simple solution was to just fix the resolution and change the settings and then try again. And as you guys can see, we're currently here playing Starfield on low settings, ranging 50 to 60 FPS. Now, with not too many objects going on in space, we are in the spaceship. I don't think that this is a fair assessment of just what the computer can do and the FPS it can run, so let's get on the ground. Now getting landed, you can see we definitely had a drop in FPS, which I honestly expected, but we are running at a fairly decent FPS right now, and the game still looks really good, even at low settings. Getting us into a gunfight here, we started to get into what I would probably say is a more realistic FPS marker for the kind of hardware that we're running. And just keep in mind at the price point we're running it at. Currently, we're doing Xbox numbers here, guys. We're running at 35 FPS with an average of 46 right now. And our FPS for this type of game is absolutely playable. We aren't playing any sort of competitive multiplayer FPS right now. We're playing against a computer. Everything is running smooth. Here it is, doing just fine. Now, I'm of the opinion that this is absolutely playable and it looks good. But you guys might not be convinced, so I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to go ahead and put this comparison up here for you guys to see with my own personal system playing this game. Now, I am running with my system at a 4K resolution, high settings, and my hardware is a 7900X and a 3080 Ti. Obviously, there's some differences here, but I don't think it's so drastic that this is just unplayable and there's no way that I would do it. I think it still looks really good. Now, I feel like we've proven that a $140 gaming PC can absolutely still play some good games. And I hope that you take away from this that some of this older hardware is still very capable of, allowing you to do some things that you may not have thought you could do. Now, I did want to go ahead and push this a little bit further and just show you some other games here that you might be interested in, like Diablo 4. Running at medium settings here, we were able to maintain an average of 60 FPS and higher with this game, and I thought it ran pretty smooth. I wasn't disappointed in this at all. Now with Diablo, even running at 4K, sometimes there's little stutters, and I believe that has something to do with the server. We did have a couple of hitches, but to be expected, wasn't really anything too crazy. It did happen occasionally. Oh, and we got a worthless unique. So thanks. I know there's going to be people out there that think that $150 can't get you a gaming PC that can play these more newer titles. And as you guys have seen today, it can. And I hope that this video finds those people and shows them a different path. Hopefully they give it a chance and they can see for themselves. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Give it a like, subscribe if you wish, and let me know what you want to see next. And remember, it's a vibe. A tech vibe. We'll see you.